All right. It's the 19th of August. I know that because I have an appointment with somebody on a Zoom call later on today. So that's the only reason I know. Anyways, so I'm getting set up. Here's my table saw. There's my bandsaw. Got my trusty toolbox over there, my $8 toolbox. I got a bench sitting out there, and there's my router. And I show you all this to tell you about this. So this is called a polygon. It's got 6 sides to it. And the reason I made this is I call it a proof of concept. Proof of concept. I wanted to make sure I could make one and make the angles because my equipment is okay. It's good for chopping 2x4s, but it's not cabinet material by any means. So I had to prove it, and so I did. So I made this test fixture here. And then when I cut the angles, I could glue it and clamp it down, you can see. And then the angles would be, for the most part, really, really good. You can see they're pretty close. Not exact, but pretty close. And I tell you what, honestly, with some sanding on that, it's going to be perfect. It's going to fill right in. It's look really, really good. And the reason I'm doing this is I made this shut the box game. And in the shut the box game, it comes small. It's like about this size. And for people to play, you're really kind of crowded up. So I made this thing, and and it's like 2 foot and square. The thing's big. And when you sit down at a table, then everybody can just comfortably play it and flip it. Well, friends of mine, Mark and Beth, hat tip to you, liked it, and we all enjoyed playing it. And they and I were discussing out making it so 6 people can play. They'd take my one and, oh, can 6? And I said, well, yeah, I suppose. Let me think about it. So here's 6 sides. But as you can see, here's my hand for reference. It's not very big. Again, we're back down to the small size. So that's what I'm set up out here today. I can do my angles now. I got some lumber sitting behind me here, and I'm going to start making it. And if the Google is right and the calendar or calculations are right, I should be about 2 foot. It should be about 2 foot, which is what the other one came out to be, and it was a really good size. So this is going to be the hardest. Well, you know what? I'm going to say this is going to be the hardest part, but that's not necessarily so. These angles are going to be difficult to cut them, or they were. I got this down. It looks pretty good. A little bit of sanding, and it should be really, really good. Now, the next step is there's boards that come like right in here. And again, that's angles, which is not a problem. I figured the whole angle thing out. Here's the thing, though. The pieces that you flip up and down flip on a rod, and the rod flips into a board that's made angles to this, but now I got to drill the holes to do the rods at an angle. I'm going to have to drill them at an angle. And in my head, I think I might have an idea, but that's another one I'm going to have to work out some kind of a test jig or something, because it has to be more or less precise. There's really not a lot of room for error there. So that's what's going on today. Today, all I'm doing is I'm cutting the lumber. I have to glue this and clamp it up, and it has to sit overnight. So that means I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nights that I have to do this. I do it and unclamp it. The next day I glue it, or do it and unclamp it. So by this time next week, that should all be glued for the big one. And the other element I have to do today, I forgot to mention, is I have to cut this notch here. And that's where the bottom of the game, this is actually the bottom. Here's the top. So the bottom fits underneath here, and it glues in. It'll actually make this structurally really, really sound. So today, these get cut. That depth gets cut, and hopefully today, before I'm done, the first one will be glued. And then I'm going to come back tomorrow And I'm going to start figuring out how to do these boards that come across here and here. They're cut at a 30-degree angle, and the holes are drilled at a 60-degree angle, I think. That's the theory part. I'm not positive. Anyway, so that's what's going on in this old biker's world. Getting ready to cut these boards up here and making my 6-player jumbo size shut the box game. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later.